Our next honoree, of course, can't be here tonight. He passed, his son Tom was just telling me a little bit earlier, his father passed 14 years ago. And I unfortunately didn't have an opportunity to know his father personally, but I'm really looking forward to hearing his story. Tom was telling me a little bit outside, so I'm really excited to hear about Josh Barnes, Tom Barnes' father, who he's going to announce and receive the award for.
Thanks, everybody. On behalf of myself, my three sisters, and my brother, we are thrilled at this recognition for Dad. A huge thanks to Donnie Wall for sponsoring. A thank you to the committee, Randy Reed for curating and publicizing the awards. This is fantastic, really. How many of you out there have heard of Lexolite? Okay, so a lot of designers and other side of the thing here. So Lexolite's primarily been involved in the industrial, commercial, and outdoor lighting area. So if that wasn't the area you were involved in, you may not have heard so much about us, but the products that we've been involved in touch pretty much everybody's lives at some point or another. Dad's lifetime achievement in lighting was to found and grow Lexolite. Lexolite significantly impacts those markets that I just talked about. We supply and still supply to most of the North American lighting fixture manufacturers that are in the industrial, outdoor, and commercial lighting markets. Dad didn't plan on being in the lighting industry. Maybe a lot of you didn't plan on being in the lighting industry either. Out of high school, he joined the Army Amphibians, and he was in the Korean War, and he drove a crash boat. A crash boat is basically a PT boat without torpedoes. He liked to tell the story that basically the Army taught him the incredibly good talent of being able to pick up people off of beaches in the middle of the night. However, when he got out of the Army, he didn't find a lot of employment that way. But he loved boats, has always loved boats, and he studied marine architecture and civil engineering. After graduation, though, starting a family off, he had to find a job, and his first job was with a small injection molding company in the Detroit area. My grandfather, meantime, worked at Detroit Edison, and in the late 50s and early 60s, Detroit was going through a relatively difficult time in there with vandalism and breakage and the beginnings of riots and things like that, and there was a lot of broken glassware going on in the lighting industry. My grandpa mentioned that to my dad. My dad said, hey, there's this new material out. It's called Lexan. It's indestructible polycarbonate, and it's clear, and that might be an opportunity. So he visited Edison and made a pitch there, and they liked it, and that founded Lexolite, for Lexan and lighting back in the day. So that's how the company got started. So the company was incorporated in 1963. 1965, built our first plant and the home plant in Charlevoix, Michigan. It's still there. It's a wonderful place. Surprisingly, marine architecture coupled with some solid mentoring allowed Dad to begin doing his own optical design. So it didn't seem like a natural progression there, but curves of boats and things like that worked out pretty good with making a Cobra head optic for a roadway back in the days of mercury vapor lamps. So over the years, Dad designed a lot of different products. The ubiquitous and much maligned Dusk to Dawn or barnyard light is out there. We've been making those since the 1970s, several million of them. The Dark Sky Society hates us. We're just about done with those folks, so it's all pretty much good. The company evolved a lot. At different points, we made the first polycarbonate traffic signal. We made the first compact disc for Xerox. It was this big, wouldn't be what you call a compact disc. We made the first above-the-door window for a car, the Pontiac Fiero, back in, remember it was Pontiac Fieros? So lots of evolutions that way, along with lots of innovations in the lighting industry. In the late 80s, we introduced a family of product, the reflexers. Those ended up in every Builder's Square, Home Depot, Lowe's. They were the high bay lights out there that got used everywhere with HPS and then metal halide as that technology evolved. While many of the products that Lexolite developed back in Dad's day are now obsolete, they are part of the continuum that brought the industry to where it really is today. Fresh out of college, I joined the IES 1985. Attended my first IES conference about 2 weeks into the job, not really knowing what to expect. Was in Detroit, and I remember one of the first sessions I attended was called The Reflectance Values of Pavement. And I thought, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? 25 years later or so, that's actually pretty exciting stuff for me. I like that. Dad joined the IES early on and was active in many of the regional meetings. And in the 1970s, Dad combined a family trip with me, two of my sisters, my brother, and a non-housebroken dog into a small camper, and we drove to Tulsa, Oklahoma, because there was an IES presentation there, and he gave a session on darkness suckers, which was a tongue-in-cheek presentation saying that scientists really had it wrong and that light is the absence of darkness as opposed to the other way around, and the big piles of coal outside of power plants are really where the darkness have been sucked up from the lights through the system and deposited outside the power plants. So I've been going to IES sessions for 40 years. I don't think I've ever heard a humorous-only session in all those years. But that was Dad. So Dad loved sailing, powerboating, skiing, swimming, time with his mature children, and the art and science of lighting. Thank you very much for recognizing his achievements.